we'll be moving into more of the language of jazz as it relates to blues, so we can keep our focus on small things, simple ideas that become very complex. So we're going to be dealing first with each chord in the blues, then we will start to add passing chords, extra chords, substitute chords, and it can get really, really interesting. But we're not going to get heady or show-offy or big. We're going to keep everything the way we've been doing, so don't panic. It's not going to get crazy. It's going to be really cool and really fun. Our focus for this video is the one chord in the blues, which is C7. Now, you'll also know that later it's going to be the 5 chord in an F blues. So that's where some of our theory is going to get really fun and enjoyable and easy. We're keeping it easy, even if it gets complex. For if it was in a book, it might be complex, but for us, we're just going to do it as we go, like we have been all along, like a language. So our first chord being C7 in the blues, but this is also the 5 chord in the key of F. So that's going to be where we get all of our information from for that chord. To start with is the key of F. I'll show you.
The key of F. Now, the key of F, every scale degree gets a chord. And every scale degree is used, labeled with Arabic numerals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then with chords we use Roman numerals. So the first chord, Roman numeral 1, is F major. Roman numeral 2 is G minor. Roman numeral 3, A minor. Roman numeral 4, B flat major. Roman numeral 5, C major. Roman numeral 6, D minor. Roman numeral 7, E diminished. And then back to 1. Now, in order to know why these are major or minor, it's based on the intervals that form the chords. So there is an aspect of theory that's basic that is covered elsewhere in other videos. But for our purposes today, we want to just get to these chords in a key and name them. Those were the triads. So the triads are you'll notice when we got to the 5th degree, it was C. Now we're going to add a 7th to each chord. These are called the diatonic sevenths, having to do with the tonic being F. These are diatonic sevenths. The other were diatonic triads. And you want to be able to get these with both hands. Go slow, because one of the first vehicles you can use when you're improvising is a thing called diatonic sevenths. This is something that all jazz musicians use at some point. So for playing the diatonic sevenths on a C7, we won't start on F. We will start on C. So that makes our C7 chord here. And you will want to do these with all the inversions, because there's a first inversion for everything. And so on. And there's also second inversion, and you're going to want to do them as well. But in the interest of time, I want to get to using the vehicle. Also, most important is this fingering. I use a Beethoven fingering for my triads in terms of playing them in quicker succession. So that would mean not like this, but I would be playing 1, 2, and 4. Now, I know this is very awkward at first, but the idea behind my videos is not just to give you the information, but to show you how I got my technique and how I've gotten this technique to other students. Beginners of all ages have become very formidable improvisers and able to enjoy a really great musical existence because of the things I'm sharing. So they're very ancient, and they're also really cool. So 4, 2, 1 is the best fingering to get you some movement, because we're not going to play the triads in a block fashion necessarily. We can, but actually it sounds better, you know, doing inversions. You know, that kind of thing can sound nice with some inversions. But in terms of the root positions, there's a couple of vehicles I want to share with you that are really worth practicing in the 12 keys. So here is the first one. Notice I went to this because we're in the key of F. So it's like I'm starting my F on C. Here's where I'm starting. And that would go with my C7. Now that was up, down. So I'm going up on C and then down on the D minor. Up on the E, down on the F. Up on the G, down on the A. Up on the B flat, and then down on the C. And all of that is easier and more possible with a fingering of 1, 2, and 4. I reversed it. Just climbing. This is a really nice vehicle. We can play a C7. Good jazz voicing there. So that was just a little bit of an example. You can start anywhere, and it's going to count because you're playing in the Mixolydian mode. You can do it with 2 hands if you want, of course, and that just goes back to how much technique would you like to have. So this is the horn players do this a lot. I just heard a thing with a jazz guitarist where he was ripping these things in the Mixolydian setting. And it sounds really amazing. So horn, guitar, whatever instrument you play, you want to get that down. And that might have sounded really amazing, but let's go back to what that was. Up, down on the next one. Up, down, up, So that's our a nice run. I wouldn't say it's a lick because it's available material. It's a scale. You might work at it and call it a lick. That's fine, your terminology. But it's basic language. And you want to be able to start anywhere. Because when you're improvising, you might come to that idea from another location. You know, maybe you're playing your blues scale. That last thing I did was the second thing I was going to show you with your diatonic triads, and you just can't get it quick without using a 1, 2, 4 fingering. So what I did was, if I remember right, I started on the G minor, but we'll start on all different places. Let's start on the C. So basically, same fingering, but I'm going 2, 4, 2, 1. Then I go to the next one, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1. 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, and so on. Then you just go fast. It's a really cool sound. You notice I had a mistake in there, and that happens, so no problem. But so this is all from Mixolydian Mode. That was a C7, and it's a C Mixolydian. That's the name of this. Now, the nice thing about this particular one is when you play the scale, you can finger it like a C scale because it's all the same as a C scale at this point with just the B flat. This is C Mixolydian. Now, the last thing in this section here is diatonic sevenths. And of course, we're not going to start on F. We're going to start on C. Now, here is where inversions will be really helpful. So it sounds like I'm playing some licks. I'm not. What I played there was a D minor, root position, 7. Then I went up to first inversion, then second inversion, and then third inversion, I'm sorry. And then I came down scale. That's a D minor. That was all D minor. That was all E minor 7, flat 5, or E half diminished. Why it's half diminished and not fully diminished is another discussion. That's theory. So we have to talk about the theory of just grabbing things. We're calling this player's theory. So you can look these up. If you don't know why that's a half diminished, you should. but it's not, for now, it's a great little vehicle. These are places you can have your hand when you're improvising. What I did there was I went up with the scale, and then I came down. I locked right into a D minor 7. Now, I may not be thinking that when I'm playing, but I had to think that to learn. You have to be calculated when you're learning. I am now going to play D minor 7, all inversions, and put that in. That is a calculated thought, so I can get that in to my solo. And then how I get out of it is where I need to know my scale material and my diatonic material to go into other things. The last thing I did was a D minor triad. And then I hit the next note up to the third of the chord. So that was, and the beauty of it is you're always hitting some kind of upper structure or chord tone. So on the C7, that's 9, that's the sus, that's the 13. If I played 7, that would have been the root. I just went 9, sus, 13, 9, and then to the third of the chord. So you can see why your diatonic triads and your diatonic sevenths are things that you should really explore and try to discover more with. This can give you a great vocabulary for your C7 when it's the 1 chord in a blues, or when it's 5 in an F blues and you're going to land on an F going to that resolution. So either your C7 going up to 4, F7, or your C7 going 5 to F, which is 1. And this is all the material that you want to start getting used to. I don't mean like that's all you'll need. I'm saying this is the beginning of the material that you need, which really works with Mixolydian. And the only thing I'll just touch on again is that Mixolydian jazz scale, which you really want to get going. And we're going to talk more about that later because it's not that big a deal to implement it. You know, that's just like running slowly through the territory. So we will talk about voicings and jazz Mixolydian further when we get a little more comfortable with the diatonic system. So I would be cheating you if we didn't do this in the 12 keys. Let's go.